going on, everyone? So the Miami Heat are really struggling this season. They just don't seem to have that spark this year. They're currently sitting at 7-11, 12th in the Eastern Conference, and on a 4-game losing streak. And there's a lot of concerns that this team just isn't going to be able to make it over the top, right? This team that was an in-and-out Jimmy Butler 3 away from very likely being in the NBA Finals, but much like I said in the offseason when I was doing a breakdown on the Miami Heat over on the As It Stands channel, I spoke how this team it's too Jimmy Butler reliant, and in my opinion, he's not the best player on a contending team, right? I mean, he's been able to get to the finals, he's been able to lead a team, he's had absolute heroics, but he's a guy that he's not a just natural 30, 40 point a game guy. He just does it on pure willpower, pure determination, pure strength. Jimmy Butler might be one of my favorite players in the entire league. I've always loved Jimmy Butler, his competitive nature, all of those things, but he needs help. He really needs help. And Miami kind of has a bunch of guys that are not in a position for the roles that are asked of them, right? Like I said, I believe Jimmy Butler is like a 2 guy on a contender. I think Bam Adebayo is like a 3 guy on a contender, but you have them playing the 1 and 2 spot. Tyler Hero, his production is basically the same, whether he's coming off the bench or starting. So there's not really this huge jump for Miami where it's he went from 20 points a game off the bench to 27 points a game starting. No, I mean, his numbers are pretty much identical whether he starts or comes off the bench, and that's a real problem. They don't really have any real scoring, and they lack the defense. They're just getting older. Kyle Lowry's on a terrible contract, and they just made a lot of bad signing decisions, right? Duncan Robinson, all of these just unmovable contracts in so many ways. They don't really have assets to unload guys. And so at some point, it's what do? Do you just go and rebuild? At what point do you say enough is enough and just, hey, let's start unloading these guys and just hit the reset button? We are Miami. We've been a destination in the past for some of these stars, right? And we've won championships. You have, Pat Riley front office. You got Miami Heat culture. All of these things are a huge positive for you to turn it around rather quickly. But you got to start somewhere. And there's a lot of questions about Jimmy Butler. How long is he going to want to stay in Miami? He is sort of a perfect Miami guy, right? If there's anybody in the NBA that fits Miami's culture, it is Jimmy Butler. But he is only getting older too, and he wants to win, right? That's his big thing. He wants to win. And so there are a lot of talks of him potentially at some point being moved, whether it's through him or the organization or just kind of a mutual thing, as well as the Lakers have this specific player that they've kind of been waiting around for based on some reports that they believe is going to come out of the woodworks. And one of the names that has been floated out there is Bradley Beal. But Dan Favreau, he believes that Jimmy Butler may be the guy. And so here's what was actually said. Miami has its own superior megastar package ready to go. The Heat can theoretically dangle 3 first-round picks, 3 first-round swaps, Nikola Vucevic, and additional salary to, chase the same players for whom the Lakers are pining. Also adds, still, perhaps Miami is beholden to a market that isn't boasting another superstar trade target. Jimmy Butler could thus decide to take matters into his own hands. Maybe he'll want to play for the Lakers, and maybe other teams won't be tripping over themselves to acquire a 33-year-old, 3 seasons, and an estimated $146.4 million left on his deal, including a $52.4 million player option in 2025-2026. Perhaps the Lakers could then swoop in with Russell Westbrook 2 firsts and 2 swaps to win the bidding. Favels writes. So again, Jimmy Butler would be a very interesting target for the Lakers. Now, personally, I don't really know how the fit would work, right? Jimmy Butler is a guy that he's not really known to be a shooter. He's not really a natural scorer. He's a guy that can get a bucket, right? Jimmy buckets, right? But there's a difference between a guy that can go get a bucket and like a natural scorer. Like Kyrie Irving is a natural scorer. Kevin Durant, natural scorer. There's a difference between natural scorers and guys that can just go get a bucket, right? And Jimmy Butler is that guy. Like I said, pure determination, pure willpower, pure just strength. And the beauty of Jimmy Butler, though, is he's a guy that is very unselfish, that wants to win, that doesn't care about his stats as long as it leads to winning. He's a guy that he'll go get you 10, 5, and 5 every night if it leads to winning, and guard the best player on the other team and do what is necessary. Now, I do think that he would be a solid fit, but I don't know if he would be the real needle mover the Lakers would need in order to win a championship. Like, I think like Bradley Beal would be a better fit. Kyrie Irving obviously would be a much better fit. I think Jimmy Butler would be a lot of the same of a Russell Westbrook, right? Jimmy Butler's, again, he's great on both sides of the ball, but I don't know if I feel like it'd be a little clunky with him, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. It would be absolutely fun to watch, just the intensity, what he brings night in and night out. But I don't think Jimmy Butler is the real game changer. It does make a lot of sense that, maybe at some point Jimmy Butler wants out, that Jimmy Butler is just like, okay, like clearly I'm not going to win with Miami. Maybe Miami looks at it as like, hey, we're not going to win here. Maybe work something out. Maybe even the Lakers could, get Jimmy Butler. Maybe Miami could say, hey, instead of giving us like a bunch of picks, like give us like 2 firsts, and we want you to take like a Kyle Lowry or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and try to work it out to where the Lakers kind of just take on like most of your salary, right? Like maybe the Lakers take on Kyle Lowry and they take on Jimmy Butler in exchange for, whatever, Patrick Bev, Kendrick Nunn, and say Russell Westbrook, right? Something along those lines, to where, hey, okay, like we essentially are clearing our books. We still need to get off of Duncan Robinson, but this way you essentially just have Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and then a bunch of cap space next season, right? Like it could be a real option for Miami. And I wouldn't put it past Miami to actually look at this deal and take this deal serious if it was something there. Now, again, this is just sort of like an idea, thought that Dan put out there. I don't think this is something that would come to fruition. I don't even necessarily think the Lakers would take this deal because, again, you're just taking on so much salary for a guy that I don't think you could really win with. Granted, again, like I said, I think he's a great number 2. But in this case, he would likely be your third option. And I just think the Lakers need more of a natural scorer in that third option fit with the LeBron James. Like, I think Jimmy Butler and LeBron James are too similar. That makes sense, right? Like, they're kind of the same mold of player. And I don't know if they would mesh, just like how, Russell Westbrook and LeBron James didn't mesh. And you're going to go and trade all these assets to go get a Jimmy Butler and then bring him off the bench like you did Russell Westbrook, kind of just repeating this cycle all over again. Now, granted, the Lakers seem to be wanting to chase stars. After LeBron, at least you have Jimmy Butler and you have, Anthony Davis to kind of build around going forward. But Jimmy Butler at 33 years old, by the time LeBron leaves, he's probably 35, maybe 36. And it's like, how much more does he have left in the tank? The good thing is Jimmy Butler doesn't rely, he's not super crazy athletic and just relies solely on his athleticism. So maybe he could have a little longevity, but I don't think the risk is worth the reward if you were to do this type of deal. I think it'd be very clunky. And I think, again, you're kind of tying yourself to 3 guys, which is the problem. Even if you did get a Kyle Lowry, again, Kyle Lowry he has not been the same. He is not, but maybe role in position, right? Like Kyle Lowry is kind of like the 3rd guy on Miami, where he'd be like the 4th or 5th guy. Jimmy Butler's like the 3rd guy. So maybe with that, you can kind of get this, but I still think scoring would be an issue. I think defensively he'd be really good. But I just think in general, I just don't think it would be good for the Lakers. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Lakers. This does kind of seem like a move the Lakers would make, though. And I personally hope that they don't. I personally hope that they wouldn't. I personally hope that, the Lakers would kind of stay away from this. I think based on what we've seen from Anthony Davis, I think LeBron James and Anthony Davis, with the way Davis is playing, can be enough with enough depth and quality rotation guys. And I'd rather see the Lakers, if they're going to make a deal, go get, 3 or 4 guys that can come in and really make an impact. Like unload Beverly, Nunn, and Russell Westbrook. Go get, 3 or 4 pieces that can come in, be real rotation guys, real contribution guys, go into the depth route, and trust your 2 superstars to kind of lead you to the promised land. That's what I'd rather see personally at this point. I mean, obviously, if you can get a Kyrie Irving or a Bradley Beal or something like that, then sure, I guess. But I think at this point, ideally, I would move Kendrick Nunn, Patrick Beverley, maybe get a piece or 2, kind of reevaluate, see where you're at with that piece. And then if you still need more, well, then you still have Russell Westbrook. Go do the big blockbuster deal. Go get another 2 or 3 guys that can come in and kind of add to this team, add to this depth, things like that. But like if you could just go get like a Terry Rozier, right? Take Beverly and Nunn. Go get a Rozier, a guy that can, play on the ball, can play off the ball. He's still young enough. He's on, 4-year, $100 million contract, but he's still young enough and good enough, especially when the cap spike happens in a couple years. Like that will be a much more reasonable salary towards the end of his contract. So I think that you have that guy who could be that third guy, be that scoring option, be that scoring threat. Just think it'd be more of a natural fit, and then kind of evaluate where are you. Like, is Terry Rozier enough to really make you like a legit contender? Or if not, well, then you still have Russ to go and do a big blockbuster move and then go get the pieces you need to take you over the top and make you a contender. It's just kind of how I'd look at it. That's kind of what I'd want the Lakers to do personally. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Would you want the Lakers to go acquire Bradley Beal? Do you think no? Stay away from that. Don't do that. The fit wouldn't be work. The fit wouldn't work. Or are you like, no, go get Jimmy Butler. He's a guy who's proven. He can lead a team to an NBA Finals. He's a guy that you need. And, maybe it'll work. However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. So let me know down in the comment section below.